Hi guys, Surprise here, your local pothead expanding our universe, back with another video. Yes sir, I hope you guys are doing okay. I'm doing well. There has been a delay with this episode, but I'm here, right? I'm here. Oh, and happy holidays, sending love and comfort and grace to just everybody, all the people watching this video, sending you love, sending you grace, sending you comfort during this holiday season. Right. And I hope you're having a good, a bearable season. So I'm here with episode 4 of the Metaphysics of the Mind by me, yours truly, Msani. Anyway, I'm here with episode 4. Tushafanya episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. Episode 1 ilikuwa kuset foundation. Episode 2 it was focusing on the conscious mind, how your mind is a creative engine. And then episode 3 was focusing on the subconscious mind, your ego, shadow, all that. Yeah. And on today's video we are going to be focusing on the third layer of the mind. Si mnakumbuka kwa episode 1 tuliset foundation. So we are focusing on the third layer of the mind, which is the higher mind. Let's get into it. So, yeah, as I've already said, we are covering the higher mind, which includes intuition, spirit, and expanded awareness. So the higher mind is the part that whispers guidance. Like tusha cover the other 2 layers, sasa tuko kwa the third layer. Yeah, this is the part that whispers guidance, the one that knows without needing proof. The higher mind is just consciousness, the one that knows the truth without, the one that observes without judgment, without getting into the emotions or the feelings or the thoughts themselves. This is the part of your mind that observes. Yeah. So it's split into 2, the intuitive mind and the witness. We already said this in episode 1. So the intuitive mind senses like everything without explanation. And then the witness is that part of the mind that watches without like getting into the emotions or the thoughts or the feelings. Yeah, the observer. Okay? So what is the higher mind? The higher mind is the higher mind is consciousness beyond logic, and it is linked to intuition, purpose, and spirit. This part of the mind communicates via feelings, symbols, synchronicities, and dreams. You guys know I love saying synchronicities. This is, yeah, finally I get to explain the words that I use and the things that I just love in a structured way. I love this series, guy. Yeah, synchronicities, symbols. Synchronicities ni, I would say it's what people think coincidences are, but I call them synchronicities because they are synchron, like imefanyika at the same, like imefanyika sahi kwa sababu kuna reason, basically. Yeah. So the higher mind is calm with clarity. That is how you know how to differentiate the other parts of the mind with the higher mind. The higher mind is very calm. It knows the truth, and it's just now observing. Yes. So how does intuition work? What happens when pattern recognition, energetic sensing, and ancestral memory meet is what intuition is. Sawa. So wakati you've been able to be aware of this pattern, you have been able to like sense it energetically and know that this is what you can be expecting or something of the sort. Okay, I'll explain better. And then ancestral memory. So there's this, I love this creator. There's this creator that I really love, and she always says intuition precedes memory. Intuition precedes memory. Your intuition comes and then your memory will set in to show you why your intuition was showing you what it was showing you. Mnaget, like you usually sense something before it happens and then it happens. Then you're like, that is why I was sensing that thing is gonna happen. That is what I mean by intuition precedes memory. So what happens when pattern recognition, energetic sensing, and ancestral memory meet? That is what is intuition. Intuition is the moment the information you have been observing converges before your thinking mind catches up. Nisha explained in very simple terms. It is that moment when You sense something is happening, it's gonna happen, and then it happens, and then you're like, that is why I was sensing it. Wakati unai sense, you usually don't know why or what. You usually just know it's something. Then when it happens, memory kicks in. Your thinking mind catches up, and it's like, oh, this is what it was about. Sindio? So intuition doesn't always speak logically, it speaks meaningfully. Ndio maana nimesema kuna synchronicities, symbols, feelings. It's very meaningful. It doesn't just speak because it's the truth. It's the truth, so it's not even logical, because some truths can't even be reasoned out logically. Yeah, kama sasa, how do you explain the intuition and the intuitive mind logically speaking? It just has to be very meaningful and experiential, right? So it responds to presence and not control. It is quiet. The higher mind and intuition is very quiet. It's what you hear when there's no noise. When unaona hiyo wakati wewe unaambiwa, when you meditate you will get the answers. Hivyo, in that silence, that is when you are able to hear the higher mind. Even I've jumped the gun. I was getting to that part hapa mbele kiasi, but no worries, and pia haina shida. It's gonna be good. Anyway, yeah. So are we together on how intuition works? I bet we are. Then I'm gonna move. Leo ni na move haraka. I feel like na move haraka na pia naongea haraka, but yeah. I hope that you guys are understanding me and are catching on to what I am saying. Yeah. So moving on to the next part, the ancestral mind in African metaphysics. So the mind is not individual. According to African metaphysics and many African spiritual systems, the mind is not individual. As I had mentioned was it in episode 2 and then in episode 3, we are part of a collective consciousness. The mind is not individual. So that means it is a continuation of all those who came before us and all those who are to come after us. We are all connected. That is what we mean by the ancestral mind. Intuition is ancestral guidance. The reason as to why you are able to sense something that you have never even, let's say, experienced, but you are still able to sense it, is because maybe somebody in your lineage sometime before you sensed it, like went through it, and knows what that feeling is, knows what that sensation is. So when it catches up to you as intuition, you don't know what it is up until you experience it yourself. How were you able to like sense it? You get. So intuition, according to African metaphysics, is a continuation of all those who came before us. Not even intuition. The ancestral mind is a continuation of all those who came before us. Intuition is ancestral guidance. Creativity is inherited memory. That is why when you watch there's this Marvel movie. Sijui kama ni the sijui what rings of what. It's Chinese. Like even Avatar, like you get to see the people who came before you and the gifts that they had, the talents that they had, the abilities that they had, they have passed it down to you. Like saa zingine wewe unashanga, how did I even know this information? I've never read about this information. I've never come across this information, but I have it. I have it in my records. Where is it coming from? It's coming from your ancestral mind, your higher mind, basically. So wisdom is collective, okay? We are in a collective consciousness. Wisdom is collective. Ancestral intelligence moves through us. Through our higher mind, we are able to process and pass on ancestral intelligence. It's in your DNA. Literally. Knowledge is communal, since consciousness is collective. I feel like I've already explained that part. And then the individual mind is simply a vessel. And this is why I like doing what I like doing. And this is why I love this series. Hii series nayo imenifungua sana. And this is why I love this series. Because when I'm researching these things and when I'm putting my notes together, I am getting so much validation. So you see this point, yeah? The individual mind is simply a vessel for the collective. That is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Before ni figure out what I wanted to do on YouTube, I always knew that I wanted to have a YouTube channel, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. Then when the idea came to me, I didn't even understand it. Honestly, honest to God, sikukuwa nina get, but mi nikaanza tu niko like, oh yeah, random realizations, ramblings, I just started. And now, as I'm going on, it's making a lot of sense. Memory is catching up to my intuition. I love doing what I'm doing because basi inamaanisha there's somebody out there who needs the information that I am giving. So the individual mind is just but a vessel. Because sisi wote, hatuwezi kuwa the same, but sisi wote we bring something to the table. Yes? Yes. So, it is not about like you are learning new information. It is about remembrance. You are remembering. If you can like catch on to what this like series has been all along, it is about remembrance. In episode 3, I said it. It's not about deleting or erasing. It's about integration, and remembering and integrating. Sindio? So, I feel like that's clear enough. So the ancestral mind, according to African metaphysics, says that about the higher mind. Okay? So, channels of communication, according to African metaphysics. So, there's ways you can channel ancestral wisdom, and they come in different ways. I'll touch on a few. Yeah, I'll touch on a few ways you can channel ancestral wisdom or ancestral guidance, because we have said the higher mind is the part that whispers guidance. So you can channel it through intuitive guidance. This is the quiet knowing. Like, ulikuwa unajua aje? Aki nilikuwa tu ninajua. Siwezi explain vile nilikuwa ninajua, mi nilikuwa tu ninajua. Intuitive guidance. Ancestors are active participants in the lives of the living, guiding through instinct, timing, and inner direction. Kuna saa zingine tu unajisikianga tu haujisikii kufanya kitu. You can't explain it, but since you trust yourself, you don't do it. And then later on you find out kumbe ati ningeenda, let's say, na hiyo mat, maybe ulikuwa like sijisikii kutoka sahi. Unajaribu kujipush, but usitoke sahi, toka a few minutes later. Unatoka a few minutes later. Then ati unasikia maybe like hiyo gari ilikuwa kwa accident. Vitu kaa hizo. That is intuitive guidance, literally. Because how would you explain the fact that you didn't go and you knew that you don't need to go? Like, just take a few minutes. Sindio? And then the second way you can channel communication is through the dream space. So this place is where the conscious mind loses its grip and the ancestral realm can speak freely. Dreams are a very big way to channel like ancestral guidance and ancestral wisdom. We tend to take our dreams lightly, but our dreams come with symbols. They come with like metaphors, repeated scenarios. Ati unaotanga to this one place every time na ujaienda huko. Why do you think that place is coming in your dreams? Mbona inakufuata hadi kwa mandoto? Sindio? Emotions, lingering feeling after a dream. This time, the day that I realized I need to take my dreams seriously is the day that I woke up crying. I've never had such an experience before. It was my first, and I've never had it again. But I woke up literally crying from a dream, and I could remember the whole dream, and I could remember why I was crying, and it felt like an out-of-body experience, honestly. Something about expanded consciousness, it will feel like out-of-body experience because you are a human being. You are a spirit experiencing the human experience, going through the human experience. Sindio? So, you are a human being, right? So, expanded consciousness tends to feel like out-of-body experiences most of the time. And I feel like the dream space is an expanded consciousness. Like, it's a space that's just, you can tap into it through like expanded consciousness, right? Right. So the third the third channel of communication is emotional and energetic warning. Sometimes guidance comes as discomfort. Kwa episode 3 nilisema venye ati unameet mtu na damu imekataa. You can't even explain mbona damu imekataa. Hujai meet huyu mtu before na damu imekataa. Unajua aje like, and then a few, maybe let's say even years later, you come to find out why damu ilikuwa inakataa. Like, things add up. Sindio? Yeah, so your body is intelligent. I said this in episode 3. I'm saying it again. Your body is intelligent. Emotions are messengers. And energy is information. You don't The things you are experiencing are not random. The fact that we live life on autopilot, tunasahau that hizi vitu si random. Like life ni sahi. Hata nilishasema, I think nilisema iko episode 2 or something. Life ndio hii. Like we are already living the life right now. This is not a rehearsal. Si ndio? So if something doesn't sit right, it's about like ni wewe, like it's resonance. Literally, it's resonance. It's more about resonance. If something doesn't sit right, give it time, memory will catch up. Your intuition precedes memory. Give it time, your memory will catch up, and you'll know why. I feel like I've spoken about this in another video separate from like is it the metaphysics of the mind episodes. This exact statement. Give it time. I think, was it like the truth has its own spirit or something? Do I have a video called that? I'm not sure, but something on those lines. Intuition precedes memory. And when your memory catches up, you will understand exactly why your intuition was coming in the way it was. Your ancestral mind is your higher mind expressing itself through culture, lineage, spirit, and memory. It's just part of your mind. Ni venye sisi wote, unajua hatujatoka kwa the same people. We all have like different grandparents unless you share grandparents. Sindio? Leo nayo, let me pace myself. Hatujatoka kwa the same people. So, ancestral mind ni higher mind that taps into your lineage. Yeah. Okay? Okay. Then we'll move on to the next part of the video. And in this part, I want to cover states of expanded awareness. The intuition, okay, see the intuition. The higher mind is expanded awareness. It's consciousness itself. It's the witness. Sawa? So there's different types of expanded awareness. And I can explain expanded awareness as when the mind is no longer crowded by wounds, fear, or conditioning, it expands. So expanded awareness emerges when the mind is open, aligned, and connected. When you're fully there, when you can actually sit with your thoughts and not go crazy, you can achieve a expansion of awareness emerges through such moments when you are able to sit with your mind, when you are able to recognize your thoughts, your emotions that lead up to your lived experience. Sindio? So I'm going to touch on, how many are there? There are 4. There are 4 states of expanded awareness, and I'll give random examples as they come. So number 1, presence. This is when your attention settles into the now. You are present in the now. You actually are not thinking about the future or the past. Nothing about the future, nothing about the past. It's just now. How am I feeling right now? What is going through, like, what is going through my mind right now? Catching those thoughts in the now. Sindio? So the mind stops fragmenting. Unacha kuweka like, oh, future. Nisha explained, the mind stops fragmenting, and in this stillness, clarity arises. Have you ever just been present? Ushaikuwa tu kwa room na ukaamua kuangalia kila mtu. Like, just observe everyone in the room. You get so much clarity. You can actually tell so much by just observing and being present, literally. Okay? So, the higher mind only speaks in the present moment. That is why this is like a state that is like good to be in. The mind doesn't recognize the future or the past. Like, see the mind, the higher mind, specifically the higher mind. Poleni loni na, I'm a bit here. But the higher mind only speaks in the present moment. So, for you to be able to hear the higher mind, you have to be present. Sawa? Sawa. Then there's flow, the second state. Flow is when you are no longer managing the process. You are no longer like trying to control things. You're just letting it, like, allowing it to happen. Striking that balance between knowing what to control and what not to control, and just letting it flow. Understanding that life will life. You are just here to experience it. Taking the shape of being like water, let me say, being like water. When water is put in a teacup, it takes the shape of the teacup. When water is put in a bottle, it takes the shape of the bottle. It flows, right? And when waves are made, it crashes. Basically, flowing. That's just what I'm saying. So, it feels like something is moving through you rather than coming from you. Say you write. When you are in flow state, napenda the fact that pia imealign na the fact napenda the fact that hii video imealign na hii mambo ya flow state yenye inaendelea kwa mtandao. When you reach flow state, let's say you're writing and then you reach flow state, it's no longer like you trying to do it, it's just coming, it's just moving through you. Ni wewe tu, you're the vessel, literally, right? And then there's spiritual alignment. When your inner voice becomes louder than the external noise, when your inner voice becomes louder than outside noise. You guys know I love using the term outside noise. That is what spiritual alignment is. Ukijijua, like literally, you can actually stand on your own, you can actually stand on your feet with your truth. That is spiritual alignment. Sindio, kuna hata post nilimake juzi nikisema the universe is amoral. Kuna wenye dhambi na wengine watakatifu. Jua likiwaka linawawakia wote. Sindio? Mvua ikinyesha inatunyeshia sisi wote. Spiritual alignment is basically you standing by your truth, not anybody else's truth. Once you stand by your truth, you are able to achieve this state of expanded awareness and expanded consciousness, basically. Okay. So, opinions, expectations, and pressure from the outside no longer have a grip on you because you know who you are. You can stand in your truth. One man against the world and you're good. You are good to go. You don't actually even... You get. Yeah. So, it means your decisions feel clean. It's not that at life sasa becomes easier. It's just that you have made life easy for you. It's not that life has become easy. Now you are able to know what you want and what you don't want, instead of like being codependent on the outside world or focusing so much on what other people are thinking or what other people want for you instead of focusing on what you want for yourself. And the fourth state of mind that is like, I would say is expanded awareness is silence. Ushaimita watu wenye wao wanasema ati hawa hawezi kaa in silence, ati akikaa in silence ata the demons will devour, his demons or her demons will devour them. Steer clear of such people. What do you mean you can't just sit in silence? Like you can't just sit in silence. Silence will need you to be present. Because in silence, in stillness, you find clarity. Mtu mwenye haezi kaa in silence inamaanisha, really, do they ever find clarity or are they just moving on autopilot? Silence and stillness is when the mind is quiet. The higher mind can finally be heard. Sinisha sema huku mbele nikisema how intuition works na nini. Tulisema the higher mind is quiet, it's calm, it's collected, it's clarity. You can't find clarity in chaos. Your ability to know if you are able to like cultivate and literally nurture and be at peace and in peace with yourself is when you are able to maintain that vibration even when chaos is happening. That is what silence is. That is what stillness is. Na ndio maana mi wana advocate for isolation. Isolation is good sometimes because I need to be by myself and just like be with my thoughts and just, you know, be in the silence of my thoughts. I just want to observe my thoughts. Sindio? Yeah. So, silence is space. It's not emptiness. When there's silence, si ati sasa hakuna kitu hapo. It's space. And in that space, your higher mind can be loud enough. It can be heard. There's nothing like bombarding or sijui distracting you, nini, sindio? It will be heard in insight, feeling, and direction. So, ukiwa in silence, utapata insight. Unaona, random realizations. Let me explain to you guys what I usually mean by random realizations. Random realizations, hata I think it's in the word. Nakwanga tu nimekaa, let's say tu ni, maybe hata nilikuwa naosha vyombo, but so unaosha tu vyombo, una chill, una observe to, like, you're not thinking about something specifically. I'm just washing utensils. And then I catch a thought and I'm like, I follow it. Without judgment, I follow it, I see where it's going. And then I realize something. Literally. Stillness is where wisdom settles, okay? When thought relaxes, shadow softens, and presence takes over. The mind remembers how to listen. And when the mind listens, life responds. Life itaacha kufeel ni kama it's out of your control. Because now you're flowing. You don't even need to control it. Get it? You don't even need to control it anymore. You see, you can actually even be able to, you can actually be able to predict certain things about your life. Hasita always, see kila sati kila kitu inakukatch by surprise. Yeah. Yeah. So, what blocks the higher mind? Overthinking, emotional clutter. You don't deal with your emotions, you just let it stick. Tuliongea nini kuhusu trauma? Trauma is frozen energy. Energy that is not in motion. You just let it, unaacha tu, unaistore tu, unhealed trauma. Yeah, unhealed trauma. Forcing outcomes. You really, really want this outcome, and you think that if this outcome is not what I get, life is over. There's no fucking way I'll make it. You need to be flexible. Be like water, my friend. Si mara ya kwanza nimewaimbia hii wimbo hapa. You will find a way around or through it, but nothing within us stays rigid. Don't force outcomes. If you force outcomes, you're blocking the higher mind. Just sasa, you're not giving yourself options. You feel like umefika dead end and there's no other way to go. Okay? Okay. Haya, fear, self-doubt, distractions, disconnection from your body, escapism. These are all ways in which you block your higher mind. Self-doubt. Like, already you're doubting yourself. Do you think the world will believe in what you're saying? No, it won't. Okay? Your higher mind needs silence and stillness. It can't speak over chaos. Nisha sema hiyo. Yeah, Nisha sema hiyo. It can't speak over chaos. You need to find a way to be able to maintain stillness, silence, and presence. Mindfulness. Nikki reintroduce what your local pothead is and nini. One of the core pillars of your local pothead is mindfulness. And mindfulness basically means what I have been saying in this video today. Being still, being present, being aware. Okay? Okay. So I'm going to move on to the last part of the video. And in this last part, I am going to give a few ways in which you can open up that channel. You can open up that channel to your higher mind, basically. And you can just tap into your higher mind. And this requires space. Nimesema, in silence and stillness, hakuna emptiness, it's space. So you need to create that space. Sawa? You need to create that space. And when you create that space, how do you create that space? By practicing stillness. Breathe. Breathe. Honestly, ndio maana nimesema vitu zenye naongelelea hapa ni vitu tunafanyanga kila siku. It's things we live every day. I'm not speaking about things that are out of this world. It's things we experience every day in this human, walk. Yeah. So breathe. You just learn to sit still sometimes when things are going haywire, when shit is hitting the fan. Jiambie tu for hata tusianze na a lot of minutes, 2 minutes. Hata weka timer 2 minutes. Funga tu macho na ukue still na usifikirie kitu. Just gather yourself. No expectation. In that silence, usi-expect ati kupata an answer, sijui nini, no, just be still. Okay? And then pause before reacting. Intuition often speaks in that brief gap before the ego takes over. You see, before you react, intuition inakwanga imekwambia, but sasa, if you don't pause, you will react from your ego. And what did we say the work of the ego is? The work of your ego is to protect you. That is the only work of the ego. So maybe it's protecting you and you don't even need that protection in that moment. Okay? Okay. Trust small nudges. Hiyo kitu yenye nakuambianga vitu kwa akili yako na wewe usikizangi. Ati unajua tu nilifeel tu nisifanye. Unajua tu nilifeel tu nisiende. Nilifeel tu niachane nayo, ama nilifeel tu ni apply hiyo kitu. Na ndio hii nimeipata. Trust those small nudges. Intuition precedes memory. Intuition precedes memory. Memory will catch up and you'll know why ulikuwa unapata that nudge. Give it time. Okay? Okay. Journaling. I love journaling. Journaling just enables me to be able to sort out the mental clutter. Na tumesema what blocks the higher mind, emotional clutter and mental clutter is one of the things that blocks the higher mind. Journaling is like, will help you figure out the voice that you want to listen to. So when you're journaling, watu wengi wananiuliza, so what do you write? Even my niece juzi aliniuliza, sasa niandike nini? Nikamwambia write whatever is coming in that moment. Being present. Kuwa tu present. Leo najisikia kuandika kuhusu nini? Leo najisikia kuongelelea nini kwa hii journal yangu? And then you just follow. You just follow. Flow with it. Flow with it. And then you learn to realize the voice. Poleni, excuse me. But you will realize that you're learning to recognize the voice that feels calm and certain. With time, there's this voice that you'll be journaling with, and that voice will be very calm and certain in what it's saying. Okay? Yes. That way you are able to build trust with yourself. Mi pia nikianza kujournal, nilikuwa najisensa kwa journal zangu. Cause niko like, na mtu akiipata isome, na mtu akiniibia. Mnakumbuka tukisema, we listen but we don't judge. Kuhusu journal ya mse. So nilikuwa najisensa sana. But then with time, I have learned to like trust my voice, my inner guidance, my third eye. Tulisema aje kwa episode 1 tukiset the foundation. The higher mind is your intuitive guide, your third eye, that knowing, that awareness. When you're journaling, you get the knowing. You get to be aware because, this is how this made me feel. When this day went like this, I ended up feeling bad. And then in the future, maybe you'll recognize, like when memory catches up with intuition, you'll know why you feel. Yes. Honor your dreams. Vile nimeshasema, the dream space is a big channeling way between you and the ancestral mind, between you and your higher mind and ancestral guidance. So honor your dreams. Kuna dreams zenye, of course, okay, yeah, unaachana nayo, but kuna dreams zenye, when you notice a pattern, put a pin on it and wait. Sawa? So, yeah, that's it on episode 4 of the metaphysics of the mind. So leo tumekuwa tukikava nini? The intuitive mind, ancestral guidance, trusting the knowing and higher consciousness, being the observer and the witness of your life experience. Yeah. Expanding our universe, quite literally. Quite literally. I am here to expand our universe. And I hope this video helps you expand your universe and helps you just expand your mind and expand your consciousness. It's beautiful. Yes, it's a bit tricky because not many people put in the work. But when you get to see things from just some other perspective, unaonanga to the bigger picture. It's hard to see the frame when you're in the picture. But now when you're out of the picture, you get to see it. That is what an expanded mind, that is what the higher mind gives you access to. You have access to being able to predict certain things just by pattern recognition and alignment. Unasikianga mtu anasema, I knew that was coming. Yeah, of course I knew that was coming. Ni the same way I'll say, I know I'm gonna be great. Why do I say that? Because I know it's coming. Why do I know it's coming? My intuition says so, and the work that I'm putting in, of course, has to count for something. One day memory will catch up. Yes? Now the next episode will be our final episode in this series that has been very, very nimejifunza a lot of things, nimepata words for a lot of things that I just say and I've never like really found the words for them. Nimepata the right words, like nimepanga what I usually think about the metaphysics of the mind in my mind. Finally nimeipanga into words, coherent words, and it's just not mental clutter, and I'm very very grateful for this experience and this, like, yeah. So in episode 5 tutakuwa tu tunaitie in together. We'll be now integrating and now seeing how it is to be living in an expanded awareness, to be living in an expanding universe. Sindio, because we are forever expanding. Yes, yes. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Follow us on our social media handles at _yourlocal.pothead and at _nyagoha, both on Instagram. And then the rest of the ninis, I'm going to insert them at the end of the video. Go be great. Go live the biggest life you could ever conjure up in your mind. Sawa, sawa. Your local pothead out.